Good morning. Hey there, poetry freaks. Welcome to Breakfast Poetry Live on April 10th, 2025, National Poetry Month. Bigfoot mug that I got from Stash Tea ages ago. Today we begin with the string of pearls drawing. We have our coffee can, and this is how we assemble one complete poem by drawing pre written lines at random every day of the month of National Poetry Month. And then by the end, we have a completely assembled poem, and it will be an ebook. It will be with block prints. I did not bring the block prints over. Well, I think I maybe used one as a bookmark. I'll show it in a little bit. But I do have the blocks and they're backwards from the prints because that's how it works. Hey, the poet's bowl. Hey, the porridge looks back, and the upside down. There we go, right side up. Beat poet stew. So I have in my hand today's line. They are all food related. Certain cheeseburgers embarrass the moon with their brilliance. True. I had a cheeseburger last night. Hopefully, I won't have another one tonight. I always have dinner with my son on Thursday nights. My husband last night wanted to go to High Boy, local burger joint, really good. It was just the day for it because we had both had really crazy days. I'd had two crazy days in a row at work, working in the schools as we do. Universe deck is next, where I pull from the universe deck cheese balls, word balls, beautiful words can. Three words each day from a list of favorite words or words that embody the whole persona, I suppose, if you could. Mine was stream of consciousness written, my list, put them on individual cards. I got the idea from Michael McClure, poet and playwright, as I've said, in his lecture at Naropa University, 1975 or six, something like that. He gives strict rules for assembling it, which I've outlined in the 10th episode of Poetry Freaks, the podcast. If you would care to assemble your own for poetry prompts, yesterday's three words were eyeshadow, turquoise, and squint, and I will read the poem that resulted from the prompts. Where's the wonder? Why does she hide, leaving only hassle and tired? Daily aftermath of the scene, shortfall in the way of turquoise, not a spare moment for eyeshadow and glamour. No fat glitter on the brow. We squint to find the dazzling that made us squint in bygone days. Thank you. I don't mean to have such like draggy, helpless, hopeless poetry these days because life is grand. It's just also exhausting, as we know, who have, day jobs. I was talking to my school secretary yesterday and we decided, and we knew, I already knew, that if there's not something to fight against, where is the poetry, right? Because, and then who's gonna understand if you're all like, hi, I have a trust fund and I'm spending my days at my glorious mansion just thinking about poetry. Now, I don't want a glorious mansion. I don't want a pool. I would love days spent in poetry, and poverty would be fine, to a degree, of course. We got to eat. But right now, this is where I should be and what I should be doing. I've got, our three words today are fink, nightfall, and whale. I stand by my declaration, fink, nightfall, and fail, that even though I did not follow the strict rules of assembling my universe deck by candlelight, all alone, accessing consciously the past, present, and future selves, and then doing 16 words each for the five senses, and then 10 for abstractions and 10 for movement. I didn't do that whole math equation. I simply assembled my list, and they still, as is the final rule, sound grand together. And I think embody. Good enough, right? This is poetry, and we're going to enjoy it. I don't want to stress over a universe deck. It is a joy. It is a source of joy. Universe deck, we've done our drawing, our prompts. And next, I'm going to read from the fourth grade poetry document. If you're following on Instagram, I am posting on Instagram every day. I've decided to do YouTube instead on Thursdays, since the streaming platform that I used a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was, for a while with my poet friend Angela Eureka Smith, used to let you post to multiple platforms at once without paying the fee. Now, of course, the fee is in place. So I chose Instagram because it was quick and easy and then YouTube Thursdays. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, there's Breakfast Poetry Live somewhere each day of April, the good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Emily Dickinson, I Felt a Funeral in My Brain is the title that is given. I don't know that she titled them, they were numbered, but that is how the title is given. I felt a funeral in my brain, and mourners to and fro kept treading, treading till it seemed that sense was breaking through. And when they all were seated, a service like a drum kept beating, beating till I thought my mind was going numb. And then I heard them lift a box and creak across my soul with those same boots of lead again. Then space began to toll, as all the heavens were a bell and being but an ear, and I and silence some strange race wrecked solitary here. And then a plank in reason broke, and I dropped down and down, and hit a world at every plunge, and finished knowing then. Thank you, Emily Dickinson. Maybe I should have read that one yesterday when I had my black printed Emily Dickinson shirt on. A black print I made several years ago. I frequently get, is that Frida Kahlo when I wear that shirt? Cafeteria lady said that yesterday. It's not the first time I've heard that. They have the same curtain part in the hair and kind of the same mouth. Um, but I think that visual art is frequently in the forefront of the mind more so than poetry, because I do believe that my black print looks like Emily Dickinson, and I have sold a few on my Etsy shop, which is in vacation mode for a while because I have not attended to some detail in my information that I've had a hard time, frankly, figuring out, and especially with these busy, busy, busy days. So that's I Felt a Funeral in My Brain from Emily Dickinson. I also do like Frida Kahlo. They say Kahlo usually is when they ask, um, because she was dedicated to the self-portrait, and I blame the '90s. I blame coming of age in the '90s. How stricken I was when I noticed people were taking selfies. I thought, oh my goodness, oh, maybe it's just the neighborhood I grew up in, but I thought they're going to be skewered for that. They're going to be called, oh, you sure, you sure love yourself. Oh, you think you're so great. I think that was a mood in my childhood and teen years. And so I never would have thought to do a self portrait when I was doing a lot of visual art. And when I discovered that Frida Kahlo did it, and I found a book at the library where I worked at the time that was self portraits, of artists, and I really leaned into it and did several self portraits. And it's a great way to practice your faces, and it's also kind of, I don't know, it made me feel bold and almost legitimized, if you will, like, oh yeah, I did my self portrait like these artists. So we take our inspiration and encouragement where we can get it. Here we go. Next up, we've been looking at John Keats's Porridge, favorite recipes of American poets with our food theme this month, this year of National Poetry Month. This is edited by Victoria McCabe. Um, however, we will be looking at Gertrude Stein's Food, again from the poetry collection Tender Buttons, 1914. I have chosen eggs. Let's read eggs. Kind height, kind in the right stomach with a little sudden mill. Cunning shawl to be steady. In white and white handkerchiefs with little dots in a white belt, all shadows are singular, they are singular and procured and relieved. Not that is, no, that is not the cow's shame, and a precocious sound, it is a bite. Cut up alone the paved way, which is harm is old boat, and a likely dash. Food by Gertrude Stein. We looked at eggs. I read that line wrong when I was pre-reading it too. No, that is not the cow's shame. I wanted to say not that is not the not the, but there's a lot of fun ways with words in Gertrude Stein where she was experimental and she would repeat things that pleased her, I suppose. And I love that she's got an entire long poem called Food. So we can revisit that through this month with our food theme. And finally, Moon-Devoured, one of my own collections, 4 chapbooks in one, got a lot of black prints on there. So I usually incorporate a lot of visual art with my poetry collections. Um, the second of the 4 chapbooks is titled Moon-Devoured. And I read one from there yesterday. Here is the block print of William Butler Yeats Yates's Junket is the title of the print, and yesterday's line, I slaver on the soy sauce marinade dripping from my egg, so there's another egg. All right, and this poem is titled Moon-Devoured. Today I hate my race, my species, and wish for love. Today I hate my time, my tercet, and wish for love, she chant confides after a brandy or two. Devour them, bugs. Chisel their scalps with your knowing, healing jaws. A pestilence parade of plagues largely bygone. They're coming down the street now, cried the Lady of Shalott. I've chosen my chaos. I select my muse and nurse him to health with garlic and sonnets and tisanes. Only we two remain. Thank you. That is from Moon-Devoured, from A Howling Breakfast of Moon Soda, 4 chapbooks in one, published in 2022. Thank you, and thank you, print of W.B. Yeats. That is Breakfast Poetry Live for today, April 10th, 2025. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will feast on the poetry, not just here, but perhaps elsewhere, here and there, throughout the day, throughout the month, if you're able. You can write along with my prompts. Our prompts for tomorrow: think, nightfall, whale, if you would care to make that your title and write to the mood or incorporate the words into your own poem. Send them to hypnostandoutrage@gmail.com and I will happily read it on the Breakfast Poetry live stream through the month of April. All right. And if you want to assemble your own universe deck, check out Poetry Freaks, episode 10. It's a podcast. The sister podcast, too, Podcast in A Minor, which has many episodes and hopefully will soon have more. I should have time tomorrow night to actually record a couple of songs. Fingers crossed. All right, please enjoy your thrilling Thursday, and I'll see you tomorrow.